We thank the families and the students for all that you have done and for joining us today. Now, go out and transform the world.
All of us who work in the business of higher education, and most specifically our wonderful faculty that sit here, we do it for you, our students. You don't go into higher education if you're not interested in working with and helping students move through their life's journeys. And so I have the real pleasure this morning of introducing a student speaker. And I did tell her this morning that the president is infamous, I will say, for in meetings asking people to do impossible things, and when we argue back that it's not possible, he simply says, do it, and no pressure. So I told our student that this morning, and after about 2 minutes, I realized she is going to be absolutely fine. And so it is with great pleasure to introduce to you Jessica Nicole Wallinger.
Just a few short years ago, we all stepped foot on Becker's campus for the very first time. We were all younger, more naive, and unsure of literally everything happening around us. And look at us now, about to be college graduates. Well, we learned so much along the way. We can't forget the many important lessons that we'll carry with us for the rest of our lives. Like many of you, freshman year was my first real time away from home. Move-in day was so exciting, but it was also scary. I left my house the morning of. I cried saying goodbye to my dog. I drove up to Becker with my parents, shoved all of my things into my room in Night Hall, and suddenly, I was on my own. Everything was new, and everything was on us. Our schoolwork, our grades, our laundry, even eating healthy, getting to class on time, and picking up after ourselves in our dorm rooms. We all had to learn how to be accountable. And although we may have struggled along the way, we grew and learned to make it work. Integrity is a lesson that we've been learning our whole lives. As a child, it was being honest and picking up that $20 bill, returning it after you saw a stranger drop it. But now, it's knowing that we have accomplished what we have accomplished with honesty. It's not looking over for answers, but instead asking for help. It was taking the hard way to the top, even though we knew there may have been an easier, less honest way to get there. Taking shortcuts is something that I've never been fond of. And here at Becker, we learned to do our best the hard way. We should all be so proud of our accomplishments and the integrity it took to get here. They say that college is all about trying new things, and our first week on campus was all about getting involved. I'm sure you all remember the club fair the first weekend. Smiling faces, tables after tables, food, music playing, and free goodies everywhere. I joined so many clubs that day, as I know many of you did as well. In getting involved, I learned about something called the Food Recovery Network. Every week, my best friend Linda and I would drive the leftover food from the Lester Dining Hall to the Worcester Veterans Shelter. There, I learned about social responsibility. I learned about giving to those in need, helping others, and that a smile on the face of a stranger can make your day. I learned that our actions can make a difference, and that is something we need to carry into the world we'll be entering. Another thing I've always loved about Becker is how accepting it is. My freshman year, I applied to be part of the orientation program, and over the last 3 years in the program, I've worked with dozens of amazing orientation leaders. Each of us came from different backgrounds, different places, majors, and experiences. We all looked different, had different sexual orientations, and lived by different beliefs. But despite all of that, each and every year, over the course of 3 short weeks, I watched as a group of individuals that had barely ever met before became the closest of friends, and learned to work cohesively as one. And I find that this can be translated to the entire Becker community. Sports teams, residence life, our classrooms. Over the last 4 years, each of us came from different states and countries, backgrounds, and lives. And we've learned to work alongside of our diversity and coexist to become an amazing community. We've learned the importance of community and diversity, and we need to bring that everywhere we go. If Becker College has taught me anything, it's that each and every one of us is unique, and we need to value that. Having come here from a high school where bullying ran rampant and I always felt pressured to fit in, it was so relieving to step foot on a campus where diversity and individuality were valued. You don't need to fit into a box to be accepted. You just need to be yourself. When I realized that, I was able to find myself and become a person that I love. And I've heard countless stories of that happening all around the Becker community. We're all entitled to our own creative expression, and that is beautiful. All of these lessons, all of these Becker core values, I consider to be the most important things that I've learned here on campus. And they lead up to the most important lesson, excellence. Today, each of us sits here having learned through all-nighters, study groups, tutoring sessions, fighting the urge to procrastinate, managing times around jobs and activities, and maybe even a few tears, or even a lot of tears. We worked ourselves to the ground, and here we are. We are just one of 7% of people in the world that has a college education. 7%. We should be so proud. And yes, 7%. And every day we can strive for more. Every day is just another step closer to excellence. Unfortunately, despite all of the wonderful lessons that we've learned here at the Becker community, we've all had to learn one very difficult lesson. No community, even our small Becker one, is immune to tragedy. Dana, Corey, Jared, Jerry. Here we sit, just a few short hours from entering into the real world, knowing that every day we can carry with us their memory, and they can live on in who we've become. They're right here with us. So, here we sit, just a few years later, and we are wiser, stronger, and ready to take the world head on with what we now know and embrace what we have yet to learn. This right here is the start to the rest of our lives, and we have infinite potential. We can start our own companies, we can build our own nonprofits, we can be problem solvers, we can end world hunger, we can find the cure for cancer, we can create anything, we can be anything, we can do anything. We can be the change, and all it takes is one small step at a time. Here is where it all begins, and we are ready. Congratulations, class of 2017. Thank you.
Here we go.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Give her another big round of applause.